Hey team, I hope you all are doing well. Today's topic, I wanted to go over a question I was recently asked, and that was my personal thoughts of Eliud Kipchoge's world record that he set at the 2022 Berlin Marathon, running 2 hours 1 minute and 9 seconds, breaking his world record by 30 seconds. To me, was incredible, and athletes of that caliber have been doing that for such a long time and consistently that they are able to run at those particular efforts. Without question, what he's doing, his oxygen carrying capacity, his ability to run at very, very fast paces and more than likely accrue only small amounts of lactic acid buildup, is obviously an athlete that is extremely talented, but also has worked for several years to prepare for those particular types of efforts. And we all know Eliud Kipchoge is an outlier when it comes to the sport of endurance athletics. There's never been an athlete that's been able to run a marathon that fast. And as you all know, or if you're new to the sport, this individual athlete has also broken the 2 hour marathon barrier, running 1 hour and 59 minutes and 40 seconds in a paced effort that was not counted as a world record, but in my opinion it should have been, because even though he did have a pace car, he did have athletes pacing him during that particular effort and also being handed water bottles. But Eliud Kipchoge's paces in this 2022 Berlin Marathon were absolutely incredible. He hit 5 kilometers in 14 minutes and 14 seconds, hit the 10 kilometer point in 28:23. That is 1 hour, 59 minutes and 41 second pace for the marathon. 15 kilometers in 42 minutes and 33 seconds. 20 kilometers in 56 minutes and 45 seconds. He hit the half marathon in 59:51. That is the fastest half marathon split ever in the history of the marathon. So we're talking, he was on sub 2 hour marathon pace for that first half. His pace setter actually set a world record through the 25 kilometer point, running 1 hour, 11 minutes and 8 seconds. The former world record for 25 kilometers was 1 hour, 11 minutes and 18 seconds. So this was an extremely special race. And like I said, his capacity for being able to clear lactic acid faster than it's building up and running at that pace, which comes out to 4 minutes and 37 seconds per mile, is astounding. His 30 kilometer split was 1 hour, 25 minutes and 40 seconds. 35 kilometers he hit in 1 hour, 40 minutes and 10 seconds. 40 kilometers in 1 hour and 54 minutes and 53 seconds. And of course, he finished in 2 hours, 1 minute and 9 seconds. So in this video, I want to also conclude with the last 10 minutes of the race. And what you're going to see in his particular effort and running this fast is, notice how relaxed he looks when he's running. I always point out the importance of staying as relaxed as you can under maximal efforts. Even when you're running easy, we can always work on running more relaxed and lessening the amount of tension that we're feeling when we're running at faster paces. My honest opinion about this is, he's been tested. He has not been caught with any performance enhancing drugs, so I don't want to believe that he is taking performance enhancing drugs. But what I do know, and what I've noticed about him, and I've studied Eliud Kipchoge since I started running back in 1992. Even when I just started out in the sport, he was running at the very top level. And what I've noticed about him is his mindset, his discipline. And you got to also know that these athletes that are running these absurd times, anytime a world record is set, it's set by an extremely genetically talented athlete, but also an athlete that has worked several years to get to that point. And again, we always focus on the end result. We don't always focus so much on the process that went into producing that incredible performance. And I was shocked, to be honest. I did not think Kipchoge was going to break his previous world record of 2 hours, 1 minute and 39 seconds for the marathon. And seeing him do that and run 2:01:09 at the age of 37 It was a shocker, and we don't know exactly his exact age. I mean, we hear a lot of rumors around that he's maybe in his 40s or upwards of 50 years old. I don't think he's that old, but for any athlete, regardless of age, to run this fast, you have to be extremely talented, but you also have to have an immense work ethic to run at 437 mile pace. I think his average per kilometer pace for the entire 42.2 kilometers was around 253 or 252 per kilometer. And again, that's going to take an athlete that really is not only has the genetic talent to handle that type of pace for that long, but also an athlete that has all the other factors that go into running this particular this particular type of pace, and that is an extreme mindset. An athlete that has obviously the pace setters that are talented enough to hold that particular goal pace that he was aiming for up to right around 25 to 30 kilometers, which is where his last pace setter dropped out. So I hope you enjoy the last 10 minutes of the race, and really that's my honest opinion about it. I think what he's doing is incredible. I think he is a legitimate athlete. Yes, there are concerns. I mean, of course, there's, like I said, there's never been an athlete that's run this fast for the marathon distance, and as we see, performances continue to get faster and faster with improved shoe technology, with improved sports medicine. Are there athletes out there, unfortunately, using drugs? Yes, there are. I mean, it's everywhere, and it's sad. I used to think Lance Armstrong was clean, and he did have an extreme amount of talent and a strong work ethic, but he eventually was caught. So I hope that's not the case with Eliud Kipchoge. But again, I think we're looking at an athlete, and as you watch the last 10 minutes of the race coming up here, look at how relaxed and how smooth this athlete is. It's not only his biomechanics, but also his tenacity, his ability to stay relaxed and calm under extreme pressures. And know that also these athletes, as I talk about in other videos, it's so critical. They're spending such a high amount of time training at or far below their goal race pace that they've trained the energy systems of the body so sufficiently that they're able to handle very, very high amounts of lactic acid, and they're able to clear it. Easy running does not teach this. So when you see runners like this, and what you'll see here in a few minutes, watch the last 10 minutes and just watch the leg turnover and his ability to run at these paces. You can do this. You can mimic this type of effort, but you have to train like a professional athlete, like an Eliud Kipchoge, and do the very best you can with your particular talent. So I hope this answers the question that I was asked, and enjoy the last 10 minutes of the Berlin Marathon. Watch this athlete. This is an extremely talented, amazing athlete to come back, run a 59.51, and come back the second half of his race and run 61 low for a second half of the marathon. Absolutely incredible. So enjoy the race, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.
In Herzogenaurach back in April, she ran a fabulous 67.28 for a half marathon. So Safer has all the credentials at 10k and a half marathon to make a massive impression at the marathon.
Eliud Kipchoge through Potsdamer Platz, now along Leipziger Straße, coincidentally where Tim and I have been staying for the last few days, running past our hotel. Many of the support staff for the marathon also staying there. We are now right back in the heart of Berlin, heading towards kilometre number 39.
And Chris, word of caution, the 38th kilometre for Kipchoge. I feel a bit guilty. I think I jinxed him. 3:02. His 38th kilometre, the slowest of the race by 3 seconds. He's still heading for a world record, a big world record improvement, but his projected time at 38k, 2:01.05. His world record, remember, is 2:01.39. He still has a good cushion.
He does have a very good cushion, and it was really hard fought and had to work really hard to build up that cushion, and he may well need it. It's like saving, isn't it? Saving your pennies as a child, saving for a rainy day. No rain in Berlin today, but Kipchoge slowing up. Is that his first kilometre outside 3 minutes?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. The first kilometre outside 3 minutes was the 38th. But 4 kilometres to go, less than 4 kilometres to go, 3.5 kilometres to go, 7 laps of a a running track, about 7 or 8 laps of a running track, and Kipchoge will be home and dry. There he is. He's just gone through 39k. And as you said quite rightly, Chris, just passing our hotel on the right of picture, the Mall of Berlin. It's a rather useful hotel if you like a bit of shopping. You're built into the same complex as an entire shopping centre. But Kipchoge here needs to dig deep as never before.
Under 10 minutes of running.
I was going to say 37 years old. I suppose his most astonishing quality, Chris, in many ways, and what has enabled this fabulous streak of marathon wins, is his ability to stay uninjured, just to keep accumulating fitness, to build and build and build year on year. And that is the key for the majority of elite athletes. Most careers end because of injury. They don't end because of age, they end because of injury. And if you can avoid those injuries, of course you can keep going through your 30s, your mid-30s, into the years approaching 40, which is what this man has done. It's what Kenenisa Bekele has done. It's what Haile Gebrselassie has done.
How many more marathons, competitive marathons, do you think we'll see from this man?
I think it would be unfair to put a number on it, because he prepares so well, so diligently. You know, this is his first marathon since early March. He gets it right again and again. And people used to say years ago that there's a finite number of marathons in your legs. That's just not true. He might have another 6 or 8 good marathons in him if he plays his cards right. I think a lot of people are saying he's got 3 or 4. Who knows? There it is, leading men, 151.42, Chris, at 39k. The world record, 152.26. That cushion has come in under less than a minute for the first time.
Yes, it has. It's being chipped away at, but he should have enough in reserve. What concentration, what focus. And his next kilometre mark, psychologically, will be an important one for him. He'll see the figure 4 at the front of it for the first time. And there he will turn left, and there'll be a few dog legs through Gendarmenmarkt, and then eventually onto Unter den Linden, and from there it will be a glorious sight. He'll see the Brandenburg Gate, and beyond that the finish line. So next split will be at 40k, and 4 years ago he went through 40k in 1:55.32. 1:55.32 at 40k. He will be comfortably inside that. But is that margin, is that cushion coming down? And if so, how quickly? Because that's what he's drawing on here. Another 100 or so meters to go to the next checkpoint. Crowds pretty good on both sides of the street, but when he turns the corner into the next couple of kilometers, the final couple of kilometers, we were out on the course yesterday, even for the inline skating. There's the left-hand turn at 40 kilometers. Now then, 3:11, the slowest of them all, 1:54.53 through 40 kilometers.
Wow, that is significant, there's no doubt about it. 40k during his world record in 2018. He went through 40k in 1:55.29. That cushion has just come down to 36 seconds. It's still big. He's got 2k to go, about 1.5 miles to run. Kipchoge surely will be okay. And Chris, I think the adrenaline has to be building in his system. I'm sure it takes quite something to get adrenaline building significantly in the Kipchoge bloodstream. But surely, when you're a mile from home, he can pump a little bit harder with those arms, bounce a little bit higher with those feet, and cover the ground a little bit quicker.
Under 2 kilometers to go. There is Gendarmenmarkt with the Berlin Concert Hall. Series of dog legs of 90-degree turns, but he's done them before. He'll be clicking them off. There are about 3 or 4 of them, and when he turns left for the final time, there is the Berlin Concert Hall on the left. This is a beautiful part of Berlin, and you can see the crowds building all the time. Another left turn to come. What a sight that is. Berlin on a Sunday morning, witnessing something very special here. We've seen so many brilliant races over the years. This could be the best of all. For a while we thought we might see the first ever sub-2-hour marathon in an official competitive race. That will not happen. but we are on for a world record.
Fingers crossed, we're on for a world record. Very gradually, even though he still bounces well, he still has that beautifully symmetrical style. We know he is slowing pretty dramatically. 3:11, the 40th kilometre from Eliud Kipchoge. That is the slowest kilometre split of the race by a huge chunk. And he's through 40k now.
Well, the next K split will tell us for the last time where Eliud Kipchoge is. 3:02 2 kilometres ago, 3:11 through to 40 kilometres. Will that be even slower going through 41 kilometres? He's got another 100 metres to go before we can give you that information.
On the women's race, by the way, they are still projected to finish in under 2:16. 3:14, that 36 kilometre for the women.
He's back on song, 2:53, an injection of pace. Goodness me, what a reaction that is. And that is the mark of a man who knows he's almost there. Another right turn into the final kilometre or so. He has almost exactly 1 kilometre to go in this race. Eliud Kipchoge smiling, of course he is. It's hurting, but he's on his way to an extraordinary performance here. This will be the best marathon we've ever seen in a competitive race, and the crowd's building all the time.
And there is the hint of a smile there, Chris. You'll never know if it's a half smile, half grimace from Kipchoge as he negotiates this left-hand turn. I sense there is a slight upping of his game. I think he is now prepared to redline it and push hard through this next couple of minutes.
Onto Unter den Linden, that most famous of roads. He'll have the Brandenburg Gate in his sights. The lime trees on Unter den Linden flanking either side, and there it is for the first time. There is the Brandenburg Gate. That's the target, and beyond there, it's less than 400 metres to go. What a moment this is for Eliud Kipchoge. Let's keep an eye on the clock. We will tick round to 2 hours exactly. There's a reminder of the world record as it stands, 2:01:39. It's not a question of whether Eliud Kipchoge will break the record, Tim. It's a question of by how much.
Well, when he broke the world record 4 years ago, Chris, it was the biggest marathon world record advance in over 50 years. You have to go back to Derek Clayton to find such a big improvement. 1:18, he took off Kimeto's world record. He's going to take another big chunk of his own world record here today. It'll be 15 out of 17 victories for Kipchoge.
One more little dogleg to negotiate. The crowd's going crazy. There is the Brandenburg Gate, and the sunshine has come out in Berlin. We are witnessing something very special indeed here. He goes through the arches in just outside, it will be 2 hours. 2:01:39 is the target. He's going to smash the world record under the famous arches of the Brandenburg Gate, built in 1791. And from here, 352 metres to go. Less than 60 seconds of running. It's less than a lap of the track. All those early starts, all those endurance runs, the tempo runs, the sacrifices that he's made have all come down to this. His wife and children are watching back home in Kenya. The crowds are going crazy. It's history unfolding here on the streets of Berlin in the sunshine. The double Olympic champion is the greatest marathon runner we have ever seen in the history of the event. He's going to get inside the world record. It won't be by a minute, but it will be an appreciable chunk. He has done it again. This is superhuman. This is road running from a different planet here in Berlin in 2022. Eliud Kipchoge smiles for the last time. Let's keep an eye on the clock, just outside 2:01. Eliud Kipchoge is a history maker in Berlin. Yet again, he has done it. The world record has gone, and now he can celebrate. And that is simply stunning. A warm embrace from Patrick Sang, his long-term coach. And the greatest marathon runner the world has ever seen has produced the fastest marathon the world has ever seen.
This man leaves you scrambling for superlatives again and again. Why did we ever doubt him? There have even been whisperings from one or two people who claim to have been in the know in the last few days that the world record would not go today. Well, more fool them, more fool us for giving any credibility to those opinions. Because Eliud Kipchoge knew. He knew all along, didn't he, Chris? He knew that he didn't get things exactly right 4 years ago. I don't think he's got it exactly right today. I mean, let's work out his second half. His first half, 59-51. His second half is something like 61-17, there or thereabouts. It's an...
Be uncharitable, but there is still room for improvement, and that's what makes this so exciting. But let's just enjoy these pictures and enjoy Eliud Kipchoge's moment.
But Chris, as an athlete, it was half decent a few years back. I used to finish races on my knees. This man looks like he could go round another 5K. I mean, he's recovered so quickly. He is a phenomenon in the world of sport, which his uniqueness transcends the barriers between road running and other sports, other disciplines, other endurance disciplines.